Hello everyone, thanks for joining in for another yoga session. My name is Adrienne. I will be guiding us through today's practice, which will be about 60 minutes. Before we get started, invitation, as I usually provide, to grab blocks, stack of books, which can provide an opportunity to elevate the floor closer to you if you find yourself straining to reach towards it. Also a pillow, or if you do have a bolster, something that you can relax back onto, place under the knees if we're ever on our back. Just some items to make you feel more comfortable in whichever body you showed up in today. But to start, find a most comfortable seated position. It can be cross-legged, it can be feet out in front of you, knees can be bent. You can also kneel, sit on your shins, and also lay on your back if none of those options feel good. But whichever selection is yours, find the seat. Get any physical wiggles out. Maybe you rock side to side or forward and backwards. I invite you to shut down the eyelids or soften the gaze, which means allowing your focus not to come into focus. So your sight is not being utilized. And draw the attention just to the center of the self. That can be the center of the chest, in front of where the heart is located. And start to take stock of what is going on in your body, in your mind. Just noticing any fluctuations or areas that feel stuck or maybe painful. And again, this is just like making your shopping list. You're just noting the things that exist, and throughout the practice, what we will be doing will hopefully aid in easing some of those stuck or worried points. And just center the internal focus on the effect of the breath on the body. So starting to focus on the physical. Noticing the chest cavity expanding upward, outward, all sides of the ribs. When you inhale, and then the gentle falling, contracting of the rib cage, the abdominal muscles as you exhale. You're noticing this at the same pace as your breath as it is occurring now. We're not yet encouraging the breath to lengthen or quicken, just observing. Noticing the two bonier parts of the seat driving down towards the floor through the flesh of the seat, anchoring us to the ground below. And with each inhale, see if you're encouraged to lengthen and stack and straighten the spine. Maybe you notice the shoulders have been forward or behind the pelvis, and you relocate them to float directly over the hips and the pelvis. And notice the position of the head and the chin. If it isn't stacked center over the pelvis, maybe drawing the head backwards in space. Float stacked over the shoulders and pelvis will feel more secure. Or maybe you have been leaning back, see what it feels like to stack the head, neck, and shoulders over the pelvis. Thoughts may come, but let them go. And noticing them, acknowledging that they exist. But in doing so, you disarm them. You're not so empowered to take hold of you. They're just thoughts, not reality. You're welcome to sit in stillness as long as you like, or you can join me. Bring your attention down to the belly. We'll inhale super, super deep through the nose. Down into the belly, pressing the abdomen, belly button out away from the spine, ballooning out and open. And exhaling, pulling the belly button towards the spine. One more time, inhale deep down to the belly, press, balloon out. And exhale, pull the belly button in, breath goes out the nose. And we'll just do a few cleansing breaths. So the same thing, inhaling down through the nose. On the exhale, sigh out the breath out of the mouth. 2 more times, inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Once more, inhale. Exhale, release. A couple circles of the head in either direction. And you can begin to blink the eyes open if they were still closed like mine were. Maybe it feels good to press the palms onto the eyeballs. Onto the eyelids, not directly under the eyeballs. That can help to wake you up, bring a little warming touch to the eyes. And before we get moving, we will just take a couple gentle side stretches. So placing the left palm down on the ground beside you, a couple inches away from the hip if your arm reaches the ground. Inhale the right arm up to the side, overhead, looking up towards the hand. And stacking the spine, allowing the inhale to lift the chest up with more space between the ribs. And tilt to the left, allowing the elbow to bend. Trying to keep the right sit bone grounded down. So we have a stretch all the way from the right hip, through the right shoulder, through the right fingertips. We'll come back upright, release the right hand down. Full palm is pressed down to the ground beside you. This time, inhale, left arm up overhead. Ignite the fingers to straighten everything out. Fingers, the palm is wide. The left arm is engaged and straight. Again, inhaling to stack and to get taller, feeling spacious in the left side first. And bend to the right, bending the right elbow. This time, left sit bone remaining grounded even as the body draws away from it. 2 breaths here. Stretch straight through the left hip, left side ribs, left shoulders, out to the arm and fingertips. Come back upright. We'll do that one more time. Right arm up and over, bending to the left. And swapping. Left arm up and over, bend to the right. Back through center. A gentle twist over to the left. Right arm, right hand crosses across the body to the outside, the left side of the left knee. The left hand can press down onto the ground behind you. Just gently look over to the left wall. A few breaths here. Gentle wake up stretch to the spine. Feeling length and height, tallness with each inhale in the spine. And gently releasing through center, this time crossing the left hand to the outside of the right knee. Right palm finds the floor behind you, maybe right fingertips, and you just look over to the right. Directly out to the right on you, not looking over the right shoulder, not trying to twist so your chest faces towards the back wall. We're not there yet. Just focus on the inhalation, lifting the sternum and the chest up, lengthening the spine with it. This gentle twist is just a massage of the organs, through the belly. And again, slow, gentle release through center. Shake out the hands. We'll weave them together, making a basket. Press the palms forward, flipping them. So the fingers are towards the face, the palms out away. And release, shake them out, knit the fingers the opposite way, the funky way. Again, press palms forward, straightening the arms. Engage the little belly. Let the breath lift up a stacked spine. Keeping the fingers linked, raise the palms to face upward, overhead, pressing out from the shoulders. Arms still working to straighten. And release, shake the hands down to the sides. And my ankles are a little stiff, so maybe you take some circles like me if you have your feet crossed, your ankles crossed. And we're just going to come to standing. So you can bend the knees and roll the spine up slowly. And we're going to start just our feet about hips width distance, one to the other, looking down. You should see the full foot. They should be in about the same line. And lift up all of your toes, so drawing them towards the face, upwards. And then try to plant them all down so they have their own space on the mat below you. You feel the whole sole of the foot making contact with the ground. I'm kind of swaying side to side, shifting the weight to the different sides of the feet. So I can feel the sole of the foot absorbing that weight. And it kind of feels good. I'm performing a little gentle massage on the bottoms of my feet. And I'll come to stillness. I like to close my eyes here just to feel the upper body hovering over the hips and over the feet. Engaging with that invisible center of gravity somewhere in the middle part of the body. Quiet breaths, and maybe you sense that too, wherever it is in your own body. All right. If you have your eyes closed, you're welcome to open them again. To start, I'm going to shift all our weight into the left foot. We're going to start to lift the right foot off the ground, and then we will draw it in towards the chest, grabbing with both hands around the shin or the knee on the right leg. And you may have some wobbles, you may have some serious wobbles here. You can bend the standing knee to aid a little bit. You'll automatically turn on those legs, so watch out. You may get, you may just start using some more energy that way. And then see, even if your leg is bent, if you can draw the low belly in towards the spine. Take stock of what your hips are doing and see if you can move them so that, for me at least, my right hip tends to kind of go out into the side. I try to drag it down in line with the hip of the standing leg. And engaging that low belly really helps stabilize, drawing everything into that center point. And having our leg drawn in close to the body helps with the balance too. All right, release the leg, and we'll try the other side. So weight shifts into the right foot. We'll start to float the left off the ground, and eventually you'll draw the left knee close to the chest, bending the elbows to draw the left shin and knee close to the chest. Maybe you bend slightly that right standing leg. Encourage you to draw the low belly in. Take stock of what the tailbone is doing. So same thing on both sides, just offering a different cue. Feel heavy in the tailbone. It's again providing a middle point that can stack over the center point as you stack over the standing right foot. Again, with that left hip, that's the floating hip, the floating leg. See if you can draw it down and in towards the center, so it's in line with the right hip on the standing leg. And release. I'm just going to encourage you to do some kind of hip circles. So I have my right knee bent, and I'm just taking some circles backwards in space. And I'll reverse the direction, so I'm drawing my right hip back and then forward in a circle. All right, and then we'll switch it, lifting left knee, bend to the air, making circles to open up the left hip. And then reversing direction. Circles the other way, same leg. All right, so I'm going to face your mat the long way. And we're going to start just with some intro flexibility, some hamstring stuff. So looking down at your feet, your hips width distance, step the right foot forward, about 1.5 feet. So looking down at the feet, maybe a foot. You just have some decent space between the 2 feet, so you can still bend your knees a little bit to help stabilize you. You can have them straight. You're going to check in with the hips again, so both hip points are aiming straight forward. So rather than have your 2 feet on a tightrope on a single line going forward and backwards, you might step out the right foot in the side, looking down at the hip. Maybe that foot is in the same line, just a little bit forward of the right hip. Same goes for the left hip. Look down at that left foot. It's just shooting at a diagonal, but it's in the same horizontal line on the floor as the left hip. And try to position the pelvis so it's hovering like it's the top of a triangle. Here. I'm a little far away, so I can't really see, but it looks like my black TV stand is blending where my legs are. So maybe you can see a little better with the whiter wall in the background how I have. My pelvis is tip of the triangle, 2 feet are on the base. So you're staying there. All we're going to do is we're going to press into the feet, drawing into the low belly. Again, kind of scissoring action by pulling the right hip back in space, left hip forward. Just inhale the arms up and pull with the fingertips, straightening the arms, working the biceps alongside the ears and maybe behind them. And we're just trying to lift up out of that pelvis, feeling the length in the side body. And then slowly, when we start to tilt forward, you're going to keep your hips sliding back, engaging the belly, trying to keep the biceps alongside the ears. And you're trying to get towards kind of a tabletop, so that you're parallel with the ground below you. You're just looking straight down, not letting the head hang. So long neck. And come back upwards, reach up through the fingertips, engage the legs, press the floor away. And we'll do that one more time. Tilting the chest forward, still scissoring the legs. Right hip goes back, pulling the left hip forward. Long, straight spine. Breathing, although it's very difficult. And press into the feet. Come upright, fingertips up to the ceiling. And release. We'll step the left foot forward to meet the right. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, press the shins away, long straight back, looking forward. Exhale, fold, just hang here. Shake the head or the hips side to side. Step the right foot over the left, so you have crossed ankles or shins. And it might feel really good if you have bent knees a little bit. There might not be enough space between the legs to do this. And just hang over the legs. So I'm feeling a stretch on the outer side of my left leg, up by my left hip. Take 3 slow breaths, as slow as you can do it. Maybe shift the weight forward and back in the feet. And then uncross the feet, so the feet are side by side, press into them, bend the knees, and sweep the arms all the way up. Look up at the hands. And exhale, let the hands fall by the side. All right, look at the other foot, so this time, step the right foot back. We can find a stable triangle position with the legs. Same thing. Each foot is on its own train track, and that track is about the same position, the same horizontal position on the floor as the distance between your feet, between your hips. So, re-engage that idea of a really broad sole of the foot, planted down onto the ground. You can bend the knees slightly to feel more of this. And then you might straighten the legs. And inhale the arms up alongside the ears, feeling super tall, super spacious in the side body. Raising up out of the hips, out of the pelvis. On this side, you're working to draw the right hip forward, pull the left hip back. So when I say scissor, that's that sensation. We're going to draw the low belly in. And then we'll tilt the torso forward, looking out on the horizon until you get to about parallel with the floor. Straight spine, pulling that left hip back, right hip forward. Few breaths hovering here. And press into the feet, come all the way upright, reach up through the fingertips. And one more time, press into the feet. Hands are super wide, fingers sparking up towards the ceiling. Long in the side body. And then tilt forward. Shifting the hips back in space, while the shoulders and the torso come to parallel with the floor, but hovering. 2 breaths here. Still reaching out long, pelvis to the fingertips. Alright, press into the feet, come upright, reach up through the fingertips. And shake the hands down. Step the right foot up towards the front of the mat to meet the left. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift forward, press the shins away. Exhale, fold. This time, step the left foot over the right foot, crossing the left foot over the right ankle or shin. And let the torso hang over the legs. Bend the knees. Rock the weight forward and backwards to the different ends of the feet. If you have blocks or stack of books here, it might be helpful to root the palms down onto those blocks if you don't quite reach the floor. And the sensation that I'm getting here is on the outer edge of my right hip now. The right outer edge of this right leg. It may not be the same for you, but for anyone else who's sharing that sensation, that's valid. Take 3 long breaths here, same as on the left side. Just allowing gravity to pull the weight of the head to lengthen the spine, feeling the hips drop up in the air. After 3 breaths, uncross the feet. Place them on either side. You bend the knees, roll the torso upright, sweep the hands out and up, look up, get long, press the feet into the ground, and lower the hands down by the sides. All right. Step the right foot back behind you, so same as we did the first time. This time I'm going to have you turn the right toes forward. So the right foot is parallel with the short edge of the mat, the back or the front. And the left knee and the left toes, the left foot, are all facing out away. So you're making a T if the lines that your feet draw came together. And this time, we're going to come into, your more familiar triangle pose. So we'll start to shift the hips to the right, to the back edge of the mat. You can keep the hands on the hips. And just start to tilt. Chest is facing sideways. Still pressing the hips back. Hips are pulling on a line to the right. We're trying to pinch the 2 shoulders together on the back, the 2 shoulder blades, that is. So we're opening up through the chest. Really, really big stretch on the right side body. Then pressing into both legs, engage the belly to draw the torso back upright, arms go out. All right, so that was just prep. So again, arms go out nice and straight, making that horizon line. And we're going to start to shift the torso forward, looking out over the left hand, while shifting the hips back towards the right hand until we approach that horizon plateau, which is when the torso is kind of parallel with the floor. And we drop the left hand, the bottom hand, to find somewhere on the leg. And you can draw the right arm up overhead, so the right hand stacks over the right shoulder. And the right shoulder stacks over the left shoulder, and the left shoulder stacks over that grounded left hand, wherever it is. Still feeling the breath expand the belly, even though we're a little more constricted here. Still engaging the legs, don't lock out the knees. Still feeling the hips going backwards. Pressing into the feet, upright, both arms out to the side, bend into the left knee, straighten the left knee, bend again, straighten again. One more time, then into the left knee. This time, maybe you walk the right foot back and away from it so you can hang out here for a little while. So our feet are still in that T position. Right toes point out, left toes point forward. Taking a glance down at the left knee, make sure it's tracking to the left of the left big toe. Two fingertip centers are pulling away from one another. You're pulling a clothesline. Yeah, clothesline. And like I mentioned at the start of class, check out what's going on with your shoulders. And maybe if you're leaning forward, see if you can stack the head over the shoulders and all of those over the pelvis. You might also be leaning forward. See if you can draw the torso to stack over the pelvis. And a couple inches deeper into the left hip. We're pressing strong to the right leg out through the right outer edge of the right foot. And the right leg is strong and straight. But again, we're not locking out the right knee. Couple more breaths here. Shrug the shoulders up. And on the exhale, soften. You might even bend the elbows, let them be loose. And then restructure. Drawing the low belly in, gathering everything centrally. All right, straighten the legs and arms, go up, look up. Turn the left toes to face forward so everything is parallel. And this time, we'll turn the right toes to the right. So back the right foot up a little bit. So we're back into that triangle position. I guess to restart, so we're on the same page. That's all. Turn to the right. This time, right foot is stepped forward. Left foot step back. We're finding that more sturdy triangle where our hips and our abdomen are at the tip of the top of that triangle. Okay. So this time, we turn the left toes to the side. Right toes stay centered. And we'll do a little triangle prep. So hands can stay on the hips. I'm going to turn the chest to the left to face forward towards me. I don't know where you'll have toughest. You're going to press the floor away with the feet. You might bring a slight bend into the knees so you don't lock out the legs. Engage the low belly. And you start to tilt to the right. Feel the hips going to the left. The head is drawing to the right, away from the hips. You're pinching the shoulder blades on the back to keep the collarbones nice and broad. And we're drawing the belly button towards the spine. And each breath massages the abdomen because it is hard to hold this and breathe. And if it's starting to hurt your neck, you can always look down. It's totally fine. Press into the feet, come upright. All right, arms go out to the side. Still, the chest is open out to the side. This time, start to slide the hips back to the left, same as before, but this time we're looking out over the right hand, sliding the chest towards that right hand, to the right horizon. Until we get to about parallel with the floor. Then you lower the right hand towards the leg. The left arm straightens overhead. Take a glance. Move that left hand to be over the left shoulder. Look down. See that the right shoulder is stacked over the right hand, wherever it is on the leg. But most importantly, that the left shoulder is stacked over the right shoulder. Same things here. Feeling that right hip drawing underneath and to the left towards the left hip. Drawing into the belly button. Feeling the head pull away from the hips along the spine. Press into the feet. Come upright. Hands out by the side. Shake them out. All right. Hands out to the side. We're just going to bend into that right hip and straighten. Bend into the right knee. That's what I meant. And straighten. This time bend into the right knee and start to either step the left foot back and or the right foot forward, lengthening your stance. So you might be able to sit closer down to the ground and your right knee is stacking over your right ankle. You got that long, straightened leg on the left, but we're not locking out the knee. So you might have a slight bend just so you can feel the muscles engage in the left. Super bent in the right. Looking at the right knee, make sure you can see the right big toe on the inside, the left side of the right knee. So we're spiraling the muscles of our thighs to the right. We're feeling a lot of opening in the hips out to the side. We'll take a few breaths here, but we'll start by shrugging shoulders up towards the ears. Get super uptight. And exhale, release. Maybe bend, lock the arms, chicken wings. Give the shoulders a rest. And then extend everything along. Straight and engaged. Drawing up to the belly. Again, maybe you find that your head, shoulders, hips need to recenter, right? Pull the shoulders and the head back so they're hovering over the hips. And draw everything into center rather than leaning forward. 2 more breaths here in this warrior 2. Straighten legs, everything looks up. And this time turn both feet parallel, same side. And you're staying nice and wide in the feet. Arms are out. Feet are about underneath the wrists on the floor. Hands to the hips. We're going to kind of, pinch the shoulder blades on the back. So roll the shoulders up towards the ears and down towards the back. The palms are planted on the back side of the hips, on the back side of the pelvis. And you might look over your shoulder and see that your elbow points are bent and pointing back behind you rather out to the side. And you can kind of see how I'm puffing up my chest forward. And then I might look up. And then I'll start to tilt the chest forward, allowing the hips to stay back, long spine. And I fold between my legs, letting the arms drape forward. You can also keep them on the hips, whatever you like. My legs are long, straight as feels accessible. And same as I suggested earlier, work with shifting the weight forward and back, rocking forward and back in the sole of the foot. We're lighting up the backs of the legs, maybe the outer hips, maybe the groin. And just let gravity pull the head down, straighten and lengthen the spine. Pull up to the arches of the feet rather than collapsing into them. You want the weight to be on the outer edges of the feet if possible. Let's bend the right leg, keeping the left leg straight, waking up the inner line of the left hip, and shifting over, bending into the left knee, waking up inner right. Again, moving to bend over, right knee. Toes might come up on the right foot, so moving into this more traditional Skandasana pose. And then we crawl over to the left, bending into the left knee, maybe toes of the right foot turn up towards the ceiling. Super intense stretch on the underside, the inner side of the left leg, of the right leg. One more time. Crawl over to the right, Skandasana. And you'll see that my elbow is bent and hooked onto the inside of that left knee, of right knee. Really bad with the sides today, sorry. And if your palm can find the floor, you can sweep the left arm up. A gentle twist, opening the hips, stretching the inner line of the legs. Turn the left palm down, crawl yourself over to bend into the left knee, skandhas on the other side, just then the left arm is hooked onto the inner edge of the left foot. Right toes go up, right leg is straight as is possible. And if your left palm finds the floor, press into it and sweep the right arm up to open up. Twisting to the right. All right, crawling back towards center. In your fold, feet are parallel. Bend knees. Walk the hands up onto the thighs. Come upright. Sweep the arms out and up. Inhale. Exhale, hands to center. Hop the feet together. Stand tall. All right. Let's face the long edge of your mat this way. We're going to inhale that right leg up towards center, pulling the right knee towards the chest. Bring the right thumb into the crease of the right hip. And we're going to slowly turn to the right. So you are facing, your face and your chest are starting to turn to the right, while keeping the right knee and thigh out to the side. So you are twisting and bouncing. And you can bring a bend into the standing leg. Feel heavy in the tailbone. Draw the right hip down to stay in line in the air with the left hip. And maybe you extend the right arm out to the right side or behind you, and your gaze may follow. Stretch out the walls and that left standing leg, draw up through the belly. Feel tall, press the left foot down into the mat. And slowly turn, face forward again. Kick the right leg forward, hands into the chest or stay up hips. Engaging that right quad, kicking out through the right foot. And just release it down. All right. Other side. You can stay facing the same direction. Just don't want to talk into the wall behind me. So other side, standing on the right foot, gathering the left knee into the chest. Pressing the right foot into the ground. So it gets a spring. You would hop on it. I'm going to bring the left thumb into the left hip crease. Still holding the knee with the right hand. And start to turn the chest to the left. Both hips are still oriented forward towards the short edge of your mat. Chest starts to turn to the left. Pressing through that standing leg, feeling heavy in the tailbone and pulling the left hip down in space to be in line with the right hip. And maybe you extend the left arm back behind you, pinching the shoulder blades behind to keep open in the chest. Engage the belly, press the standing leg, feeling super tall, super long. And then slowly return face forward. Hands can come to the hips. And extend the left leg long, pressing out to the left heel and drawing up to the belly. And release. Left leg shake hip down. Alright. Alright. This time, face this time too. You're going to draw your weight into the left foot. That's going to become your standing leg again. Inhaling the right knee up in the air. This time, bring your right palm on the inside of your right shin. Maybe you can grab the ankle. You start to bring the right knee out to the right side. So same things. Draw into the belly. Feel heavy in the tailbone. Working to draw the right hip down so it's in line with the left hip. If you were to make a plus sign right here. You can bend the standing knee. Keep rotating the right thigh open to the right. Maybe you're able to catch the foot with that right hand. And stay here. You're using the upper arm and elbow to press the right thigh back. All right, drawing everything back in the center. Extend the right leg on the front of you. 1, 2, 3, and release. Other side. Weight into the right foot. Drawing the left knee into the chest. Right hand to right hip. Left shin, or left hand to left shin or ankle. Starting to open the left thigh, left knee to the left. Chest stays facing forward. Left thigh starts turning out. Gazing through the belly. Trying to lower the left hip down in line with the right hip. Maybe you're able to grab the bottom of the left foot with that left hand and use the elbow to press the left thigh away. It's like you're thrusting the hips forward and drawing the knee back. Pressing into the standing foot. Draw everything to center. Hands to hips. Kick the left leg out. 3, 2, 1. Release. Shake it out. All right. Tail the arms up overhead. Head long. Press through the feet. Exhale. Fold over the legs. Let the feet be wide. Maybe as wide as your mat. And hang. Swing side to side. Coming to stillness. So our toes are facing forward. We're going to bend the knees, lowering the seat down towards the mat. And if you can, with bent elbows, wrap them around. So you're planting your palms on the outer edges of your feet on the mat. So all we're doing here is we're just hooking the knees and the calves on the upper arms and engage the muscles so you're squeezing the upper arms. And you may be drawing the knees towards one another. Just going to light up the muscles of the outer hips. You might rock forward and backwards. It's just a funky balance, but also an opportunity, again, like I mentioned, to massage the upper arms. All right, you can work to straighten the legs by drawing the hips upward. And you can keep the hands on the ground or let them slide up either behind the ankles or behind the calves. And that might allow the legs to straighten a little more. See if you can draw the weight into the toe edge, the front edge of the feet. And release the arms if they were caught. And we'll just come down to sitting on the mat. Draw the feet towards one another in front of you. And draw the 2 feet close to the pelvis on the ground. Knees are split open to the side. Maybe you rock back and forth, sensing where the bony parts of the pelvis meet the ground. Same as we started. All right, I'm going to inhale, arms up, feeling the chest lift up out of the torso, out of the hips, out of the pelvis. I'm going to start to tilt forward, trying to keep the biceps alongside the ear, engaging the belly, trying to keep the seat on the ground. So you might not go too far. Let's take 3 long breaths. When you reach the point where you can no longer bend forward without compromising and bending. It does not feel good for me. And after 3, you can release the arms down. You can grab the shins or the ankles. Maybe the elbows find the inner thighs. You can draw the chest forward, pressing the thighs down. still tilting forward, but this time without the added weight of the arms in front of you. Time to keep a long spine. Again, if those elbows make contact with the thighs, you can gently guide the thighs down towards the floor. One day, you can start to bend the spine forward and just come to rest. Curve over the feet, making a little cave to the upper body, curve over the feet. Take 5 slow and even breaths here. Allow the eyes to close. Give yourself a scalp massage. Neck. Take some time to care for yourself physically. Now that the time is not rushing by us with the rest of our day. You can stay in your comfort cave as long as you like. You might want to get out of it, especially if it's not actually that comfortable. More as it's a challenge cave instead. Just guide yourself to sit upright, keeping the chin low towards the chest. Grab the outer edges of the knees with the hands, pull them together like a hook. Set the feet forward a little bit. I'm going to start to shift the upper back down to the floor. So we're going to curve the spine and allow one vertebrae to find the mat at a time, starting from low back to middle back to upper back, shoulders, and let the arms rest out by the side. Now draw the knees up directly over the pelvis, the shins parallel, the feet in the air. Press with the low back into the floor so you feel your low belly turn on. If you like, you can bring the hips or the hands alongside the hips. Palms face down, pressing into the mat. All we're going to do is lower the right foot down to the mat, keeping the left as is at the floor. Draw back up alongside the left. This time lower left foot down, tap the floor. Draw back up. And moving slowly so you can feel the low belly working to stabilize. And just switch off. To preserve the position relative to each leg. So pressing the low back into the floor. Still breathing. In and out of the nose. Let's do 4 more on each side. Even though we're moving slowly and we don't have much weight added, doing this for a while will really intensify. Alright, I think we have 1 more on each side. So all I'm going to do is invite you to lengthen the legs up, long, straight. Feet, the soles of the feet are up, facing the ceiling. Trying to stack the feet and the knees over the hips, but if your knees are bent, which is totally normal, and that's what I'm going to do, you might be a little closer to your face so your feet can be stacked over the hips. Now we're just going to allow our legs to get a little bit of an anti-gravity treatment. Encourage fresh blood flow. Ready to close the Start noticing the chest rising and falling. Acknowledging the breath. In, out, 1, 2, 1, 2. And you start to feel the feet or other parts of the legs tingling or trembling a bit. It's all good. Just do 5 more slow and even breaths. After 5, bring the shins down, parallel again, or you can let the heels drop. Spread the fingers or the arms wide on either side of you, and turn and allow the right knee to fall to the right side of the chest, working to keep the chest facing upwards. Look over the left shoulder, side twist. Each inhalation, inflating the ribs. New space introduced, especially on this side for the left side body. Engaging the belly, draw the gaze to look up towards the ceiling again. Draw the knees up to the ceiling, and now lower them to the left. Coming to lay on the left side hip. Gaze can stay up at the ceiling, or you can look over the right shoulder. And this side, feel the space. Comes from the inhale to the spaces between the right side ribs. When you're ready, let the gaze roll up towards the ceiling again. Engage the belly and lift the knees upward and floor towards the ceiling. And lower the soles of the feet to the mat. You can stay here for final rest before you extend the feet a long way from the hips. Shake the hips side to side. Feeling the bony backside of the pelvis on the ground. Toes roll out away from one another. The whole leg is soft. Ankles are soft. If you were to shake the leg like jello at the ankle. Feeling super heavy in the joints, ankles and knees, and the pelvis. Allowing the softness to come into the belly. So if you were gripping any of those abdominal muscles that are so helpful in keeping us upright. Introduce some breath to bring some ease into those belly muscles. The heaviness in the shoulders, the shoulder blades, the elbows. Allow the wrists to come out along the sides, palms face up. Encourage chest to remain open. Allow the shoulders soften. Maybe you feel flatness of the shoulder blades on the floor below you. And how your shin presses those blades into the ground. You're planting the shoulder blades. Allow an internal gaze to move outward. You're watching the body from afar, from above. Watching the chest and the belly rise and fall, oscillating in between activation and soft. Eyes are soft, cheeks and jaw are relaxed, your brow, forehead slackened. You just remain with breath. I'm going to leave you in repose for the rest of your time in practice. But when you are ready to transition out of the space, I invite you to do so, understanding its softness and gentle approach. It's really nice joining together to practice with you. I hope that taking this time out of your day is beneficial for the time that comes after, whether that is tonight, later in the week, later this year. Wishing you peace. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.